It's total totalitarianism. That's what they want, and that's what this country is gonna get. If we can't step up to that beat of the drum that sits inside of our hearts, to do our hearts' work and follow that red road home, we have to straight up educate ourselves and everyone on the topics of this slavery and moral obligation to our children and to our grandchildren. Because even this kind of modern day slavery is no wrong, no matter how it's wrong no matter how you euphemize it. It's just wrong. The great human condition is the greatest work of our time, and it's to end that condition. It is the greatest work of our time. And why so few people want to put any part into it is beyond me. I think we should be building a fire here. It's because it's not just the one light-hearted little party, rather, it's the greatest work that mankind can put out in front of them currently. Work fucking hard. Back-breaking work. Heart-shattering work. People are too focused on the dollar sign of every only living monetary unit. That's all you're thinking in. What good actually are you? People lost the strategy it takes to start something new with this kind of heartbeat and integrity into it. Just to show people a kind of monetary system that I've been through just to get to this kind of work. The shit that I've been through. I didn't want to write on these topics. I wanted to be writing on the levels of where my heart's material wanted to go. I'd be rather enjoying something else in this life rather than talking about the stuff that feel as if I've gone to hell and back again just to be riding up against the storm that still prays against me to even be becoming of the whole integer of me. So I'm not going to be standing here. I'm not going to be on the one standing down and crouching down when it comes to the hardest work that man can do. No, the reason we get on our knees is so that we can rise up. In order that we can try to do something to benefit the human conditions, because most people that are benefiting today are not the people that need to be benefiting. But by creating more harm and all of these ways that they have to encroach on our lives, it leaves us with whatever they want to entail for us. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that people seem perfectly fine with hurting one another, so long as they can carry on benefit from that pain that they're inflicting. They're perfectly willing to sacrifice their whole soulless world for that cage-ass dollar, but I don't give a fuck what you're about. Do you think any one of those things is going to be the thing that saves you, and you're willing to do that for that almighty dollar bill? Go fuck yourself. You know what kind of trash you belong in. The people of these kinds are the weakest cowards you can even imagine. People will become because they aren't sacrificing the future for the children around us to live in a world that's better than the one that we currently have been living in. No, these people seek to bomb us. Pretty much make the money look like pretty numbers and make their accounts look great. They don't care about you. They'll do anything to make their power happen, but as soon as it comes down to you, they don't care anything about you. You know who we have rewarded in this country? It's pop music artists and basketball players and the alike. And it's because that's what people find value in. People reward police work even though it seems to harm so many, instead of actually being out here helping us. And rather than keeping us in a state of being able to be protected, they keep us in a state of fear. People reward this kind of work with less, and only because they find it that there isn't much value to doing this kind of work. But people have no idea what it's going to cost people if they do not choose to do this kind of work. and that there is no one out here stepping up to the real homies' plans to take your whole workmanship away, your whole lives from up underneath you. It's gonna be costing people their homes and their lives to do this kind of work, and all of the time, obviously. I'm like sitting here barricaded in my home, and this is the shit that I was writing on, so it's just insanity, because it's slavery in and of itself, because the way that these people move. And then you could even suggest you could fucking cage up and beat on the person's friend after they just went through every motherfucking thing that they went to get out from under. But oh yeah, here's a fucking cage ass bitch that put him there. So people want to fucking side with all of these areas in life where people are just ending up dead, and you don't even care to see anything about it, because people got these euphemisms that mean more to life than the largest thing that should be to life. Jesus and our God and our dear Lord and Savior. But what's happening to them? Why should anybody care? That's the kind of attitude that's utterly garbage to me, and worthless to me in more ways than the progress in the world could even become, because we're literally dying for our freedom. To act in that way, and then honestly tell me as if you have a heart, and then honestly you could try and tell me as if you care. You don't care. That's someone else's suffering in this country on these levels, these nightmarish behaviors, being lopped off in the state of duress, and all for their own accomplishments, to be up and hoity-toity with their own accountable system, right? Yeah, it's so accountable with its own occultist masters. It's a slave ship, and you know it. And I'm talking about all of your ships, the whole citizenship. It's a complete freaking joke. There's no one else that's gonna tell me differently. People truly think that they have any rights in this country that aren't being stripped away from them. But when you try to use that right, think again. You end up being plundered in the same ways the system, the people were supposed to be protected by it. And you think that you're protected by it, but if you don't know how to protect your rights and you don't have anyone to protect you, you're alone. You're lost. And the scary thing is, we're a humanity that's literally falling short of having any rights at all. And yet people still think that they have a government in place to protect them. They don't. And you can't prove me wrong on this matter, because no one, and I mean no one, has ever come to my rescue in this kind of fashion, to be able to have been living the kind of life that I've been having to live in order to go to these lengths to get to the truth. It's a fucking joke, and you know it. My motivation factor is to end the current condition we are currently living in, so that people who don't want these false flag events to happen, they can end, and those who don't believe in them see that they are real. People don't want to know anything about spiritual warfare until they themselves are in the fight. And the only true thing that we have to fight for is our families, is our friends, is our freedom in this country. Without our freedom in this country, we will end up without family and without friends, and only half living inside bodies, just a shell of the people of who they could have been, much like myself. You see, that's where I feel like I've been living, just a shell of who I could have become as a man. Many most plundered attempts on taking my life, taking my freedoms away, and I never knew where these things were coming from. I'm just living a fiction of what could be Matthew Murdoch today. And nothing of my future could ever be made as real as I could have been made it had I been left alone. It's a complete joke to me how I know that my life's worth could mean so much more to me in life, and that less than that does. And it's hard to get up and fight for it, all the more when you're in that grind. And right now, I just feel like I was chemical attacked, and so I don't feel like I'm safe, and I feel like I'm out here screaming for help, screaming for answers, screaming for people to come to my rescue. in a very long-standing crime that's been taking over my life. It's hard to continue to feel the ways that I do, knowing fully well that my life has been altered in more ways than one, that people can think that, like, you can just get out from under, when they just think, like, oh, more than 1, 2, what, 3? No, I'm talking about 23 years or longer of this kind of hacking that's been aimed at misaligning me and legit, like, stealing me away from me. So my life has been altered. They can come up with the term, he's crazy, before even looking into the facts and seeing what horseshit that I've actually had to deal with. And then they judge me on the pretext of what I have out currently, when it's like legit 1.2% of like all the content I currently have. And then on top of it, like, I'm still trying to go into other areas. So there is no way I can catch up to the actual work that I have put into this. But that's where I want to go. I'm looking harder than ever before to see clear through what a shit house that this place has been made into. What a shit life that these people have made it into. And it should make us so angry. It just saddens me to see exactly that, though, but it's not being taken in the right way. Instead of people being angered and actually taking it, focusing their energies on something right, they go the complete opposite direction with it. People don't want to find value in this kind of work because that value lives and solely lives on the values of their own lives than the future generations to come, when they act as though they feed on the monetary value instead of the things that they're willing to do to sacrifice, so that the costs and wages for these kids don't have to continue to go up to where me and you are going to leave these kids stranded on a place that they just shouldn't have ever had to be in the first place. But if you're not going to signal this kind of basket case government officials for who the fuck they are, and calm their fucking redheads down, because that's all they are, aimed to target you, aimed to silence you, aimed to create crimes that they know you aren't involved in, aimed to just create things over you, set you up, take actions that are handling your life and actions and behaviors in a manner of a job, but making it look like everything is all your fault, even when it's theirs. So I imagine I'm in a war field where there are bombs going off, there are planes dropping out of the sky, there's fire material standing by, and people are in this gunfire, and no one, and I'm here in this gunfire, and I'm seeing no one coming to stack and save my back. So it's like I'm still sitting here acting as though, or they're still sitting here acting as though money comes first before the life of our children. Life comes first before the future of our generations to come. Oh, and our life and money comes first before everything, and fuck everybody else. Fuck your feelings, like the media has taught me to believe. You're all a bunch of fucking coward-ass fucking motherfuckers. Gee, you got no gall about you, and you know it. You're a fucking fake-ass coward, and I don't care what kind of clique you fucking carry in your bullshit-ass chamber. You ain't nothing but a bitch. If you let these people get away with these kind of behaviors, and you still feel some kind of comfort with it, they're gonna come after you next, you fucking dumb fucking pieces of shit. Like, these people think that they can go ahead and go around and hate up and spray up and act all fucking bullshit in this kind of fucking cagey ass way. When all comes down and people like me are gone, all the artists, all the producers out here, all the engineers, and all the people that are trying to work hard in rebuttal of this event happening in our life, well, you're gonna see what you got. It's just when these guys finally come around, you're gonna be nice and soft targets, ready just to be taken out, lickety split, not doing anything. When they come over the fucking hill and they're ready to fucking chop everyone's fucking heads off, you'll be the type of person like pissing their pants, not knowing what the fuck to do. Slavery is a claim of ownership on your person, the product of all of your labor or your possessions, in whole or in part. all natural rights are property rights. Understanding this is fundamental to understanding the condition of slavery and the condition that we're actually in. We all own ourselves and have the right to live freely and exercise our natural rights, provided actions that we perform and do not infringe upon the rights of others. Anyone who dares to try and stop people from living within these natural rights is masking a direct claim of ownership upon others, which is the very definition of what slavery is. Those who do this or condone to this are tyrants and should be arrested as tyrants that they are. We're talking about the enforcers of this kind of slavery, so this is not meant to be taken in a light-hearted matter at all. Heavy of heart. Because these topics that I'm going to discuss are to be from that somber state of mind, as I've said before. People have to do serious research into the kind of coercive and immoral behaviors and conduct that have been taken upon them, these people, like myself, and the rest of the population. And we have to have every right to end that state and end that state of duress that they have been put in so effortlessly and cheaply. So the enforcers of modern day slavery are the police and the military. Get it as offended as you want about this statement, but the enforcers of slavery of this modern world are the police and the military. They are the enforcers of the slavery and the slave state. I don't care who you want to consider as the police or military. They all dress in clothing, they all dress in uniform, and they're in costume. So I don't care about what great men they are unless they can prove themselves to be of good and contrite spirit and of white heart. I don't care who you act like is involved with either the police or military. I know some people and I'm quite well with them as well. I think that they're great people. I just think that we're getting things a little bit misconstrued here, because the police and military are the enforcers of that kind of wrongdoing and the continuance of that kind of performance without having any just or moral obligation to the ends and means to the kind of slavery that we are allowing to perpetually happen in this country and in the rest of the world. Because that is the truth. And it is the truth. They only work for the ruling class and the dictates of the ruling class. Until these people walk away from these immoral jobs, people will remain enslaved, or it's going to take up something extremely ugly for us to get back into the real condition of living and end this condition of the slavery, which I don't foresee coming into existence, because the values that people have been that slave ship, and they don't want to turn away from the values of that real freedom, from that value into real freedoms anymore. The value has been so-called protection in this country that they're willing to give up their safety, their security, all of their agency to a so-called protection, and it's a huge fraud that's being taken over you, and it's being taken over your entire lives. The great work here is that these people quit their little cults. They quit their jobs performing in the interests of greedy men, high on the hog and living off of the slave worker of another, because this satanic cult and members, leaders, it's all going to go down in the end in fire. And it's horse shit. It's horse shit that people can't see clear through this bullshit and all of this cult type membered up society condoning to sharing in that dangling of the cart, the dangling of the carrot with the fiat currency, and then just condoning the behaviors of the cults, just condoning the behaviors of the criminal, just pushing people and allowing people to the brink, and actually setting up foes, like I think was my case. I mean, what else could come into real human beings with with an integrity look that's nothing of integrity at all. Like, it's because you're up against that kind of satanic ritual abuse and to its very core. These people are Satanists, they're occultists, and they do what their preparations do of a satanic agenda at will. They don't care about anybody, they care about themselves and their own gains. So these are the order followers, these are the people that we're up against. They don't want to reason with themselves, let alone reason with you or find reason with you. The only thing that people are seeking out to do is make sure that there is discord, making sure that there is schisms, and making sure that there are these cut cords, instead of finding reason, finding courage to do what's right for your fucking selves. But these are weak-minded people, weak-minded individuals, just ready to do anything they're told to do for the sum of money, when their value goes into that over than that of which they ought to be working for. Their character, their own built-up stamina to be able to withstand these ends of times, just as the Bible calls us to. But people want to topple down somehow and cop out when they think to themselves that somehow absolves them of the responsibility or having any moral culpability about their character at all. So I find these cults ultimately evil because they're order followers. They're all order followers. And I'm not trying to get down at people for like that don't understand these things, but I'm trying to like really educate people about the kind of duress that I've been placed in, and it's like grown into like a new place inside of me. I can't describe that, but it's like I've been killed like 18 times over. I don't know how to describe that. You're just completely left inside of a chest refrain that's already fucked up because of all of the abuse and poisoning, whatever they've been doing. But then it's like they're literally doing things to leave you for dead. And shit gets really scary, my friend. And I'm just gonna say, to sum up the end of this section, is that it's just really sad with what happened to me, because, and I just wanted to share this really kind of quick offbeat, but it's just sad that I'm like reading this stuff, right, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel the pain that's upon my shoulders, you know, I feel it all the time, you know, like all the time, but and in my back, like, it just goes right through you, you know, and I know you know, and I know people know, and so that's just what I'm getting at here, though, is that if we can go through things together in a fashion, I think we will be a lot better off. And I find it really sad that these people did this to me in a fashion that was, I'm already super duper fucking stressed, and they really thought that they were gonna get me, like, not only this fucking chemical attack thing, and I really know it's a chemical attack in my body. I feel it, like, how do you explain that? You feel it like, it's a surge through your body versus just one spot. Yeah, it's to concentrate on your heart, of course, but that's what it does, is it's meant to, like, all of a sudden you are just constricted, you are, like, literally, like, I don't know what that is, strychnine, or I don't know what the fuck, dude. I don't know, even poison, I don't even know all of these things, and I don't want to study them. I don't know, I would appreciate someone else coming into this for me. You know, like, hey man, do people actually believe that these days can ensue that kind of bomb? Well, if they do, I think that they should really pay attention to the fact when ChatGPT in and of itself is telling you that it can't even find one story that has anything similar to the length of time and what I've actually gone through to be able to bring this truth out. And so that in and of itself is what it said, and said that you have full right to press about this issue. So I'm pressing about it because this has been my life, and if I die this way, that's just even more sadder, because people do die this way. That tinge just goes up and down your arm, and it's like, man, and you know what it's from. You know what it's from.